More than 16 divers have died exploring the Andrea Doria, and the wreck is still claiming lives today. This wreck is not in the deep ocean, not beyond the reach of technology. The wreck rests roughly 240 feet below the surface, 45 miles from the coast of Massachusetts. Divers have been reaching it since the 1960s, and the Andrea Doria has been killing them ever since. Not the worst divers, not the reckless ones ignoring the risks. Experienced divers, instructors, people who had dived this exact wreck before and survived. The Andrea Doria does not kill you because you are unprepared. It kills you because 240 feet down, inside a collapsing ocean liner that has been rotting on its side for nearly 70 years, being prepared is not enough. This is why divers call the Andrea Doria the Mount Everest of wreck diving. That is not admiration, it is a body count. Before we get to the deaths, you need to understand what is down there. Launched in 1951, the liner was the most advanced passenger ship Italy had ever built. 3 outdoor swimming pools, 1,200 passengers and crew, original artworks on the walls, a full-size bronze statue of the Admiral himself standing in the first-class lounge. Italy had just come through the Second World War. The Andrea Doria was the statement piece, proof that Italian engineering and Italian style were back. Considered one of the safest passenger ships of her era, the most advanced radar of her time, 11 watertight compartments built into the hull. That matters because in 5 years she was on the bottom of the Atlantic. July the 25th, 1956. The Andrea Doria was 11 hours from New York, fog across the North Atlantic. Coming the other way, the MS Stockholm, a smaller Swedish ocean liner, also using radar, also navigating the same fog. Both ships saw each other on their screens. Both crews calculated they were on a safe course. Both were wrong. At 11:10 p.m, the MS Stockholm's reinforced ice-breaking bow drove straight into the Andrea Doria's starboard side, penetrating 30 feet into the hull. The Doria began listing immediately. Within minutes, more than 18 degrees to starboard. The Andrea Doria carried enough lifeboats for every single person on board, but the list meant the port side boats were swinging uselessly inward. The starboard boats were hanging out over the water, impossible to load properly. 46 people died. Over 1,000 survived. At 10:09 the following morning, nearly 11 hours after impact, the Andrea Doria capsized and sank. But here is what nobody tells you. The sinking is not the dangerous part of this story. 240 feet sounds manageable. The Titanic sits at 12,000 feet, the Bismarck at 15,000. The Andrea Doria is shallow enough that advanced recreational divers can reach her. That is the trap. Because at that depth, standard compressed air becomes toxic. Nitrogen narcosis, sometimes called rapture of the deep, begins affecting divers below 130 feet. At 240, it does not just impair you. It can make you feel euphoric, calm, completely fine. Divers at this depth have been documented offering their regulators to fish, forgetting which direction is up, simply stopping with no awareness that anything is wrong. To dive the Doria safely, you need mixed gas, helium blended into the breathing mix to reduce narcosis, specialist training, specialist equipment. And even then, the margin for error is almost nothing. The descent takes time. The bottom time is brutally short. The ascent must be slow, with mandatory decompression stops on the way up. Rush the ascent and nitrogen bubbles form in your blood. The bends. It can kill you within hours. Miss a stop, run low on gas, lose track of time. Any one of these ends the dive badly, and the Andrea Doria makes all of them more likely. And we have not even talked about what is waiting inside the wreck. The liner has been lying on her side for nearly 70 years. Every passageway has rotated 90 degrees. Ceilings are now walls. Floors are now ceilings. Staircases go sideways. The entire interior geometry of the ship is wrong, and the Andrea Doria is a silt trap. Decades of fine sediment have settled across every surface inside the wreck. Here is what that means in practice. Imagine you have just entered a corridor at 240 feet. Your gas supply is limited.
Your bottom time is already ticking down. Ahead of you, the passage looks clear, maybe 20 feet of visibility. You fin forward, one kick, just one. The silt cloud erupts around you. In under a second, visibility goes from 20 feet to absolute zero. You cannot see your hand in front of your face. You cannot read your gauges. You cannot tell which direction you came from. You're inside a collapsed ocean liner. At 240 feet, with narcosis pressing on your thinking and your gas running down, now find the exit. Several of the divers who never came back were found inside the wreck. Some were never recovered at all, and here is what makes the Andrea Doria unlike any other famous shipwreck in the world. The people dying here are not beginners. They are among the most experienced wreck divers in the world, which raises a question nobody has been able to answer cleanly. Why does this wreck keep beating experts? John Ormsby was 27 years old, an experienced diver from Key West, Florida. In 1985 he descended to the Andrea Doria. He became entangled in cables inside the wreck. He ran out of air before anyone could reach him. His body remained trapped for nearly 24 hours. In the summer of 1998, Craig Secola descended to the Doria on a dive he had done many times before. He surfaced unconscious. He was carrying a plate he had recovered from inside the wreck. A few months later, another diver on the same boat, dead. 1999, a third. 3 elite divers. 1 boat, 2 summers. These were not reckless people. Many were instructors. Some had dived the Andrea Doria dozens of times before. The wreck did not care, because the Andrea Doria does not only punish bad decisions. Sometimes it punishes one moment of hesitation, one slight miscalculation of gas consumption, one silt cloud at the wrong time in the wrong corridor. And by the time you realise something has gone wrong at 240 feet, you may not have enough time or gas left to fix it. So why do they keep going? If more than 16 people have died, if the wreck is actively collapsing, if even experienced divers with the right equipment keep not coming back? Why is there still a waiting list every summer? The answer is inside the wreck itself. In 1981, explorer Peter Gimbel's team recovered the ship's bank safe from the wreck. 3 years later, it was opened on live television, broadcast to 44 countries. Inside, bundles of blackened $20 bills. Italian lyre, no jewels, no treasure. But the ship itself has given up other things. Ceramic art panels, the ship's bell, thousands of pieces of china still scattered across the wreck today, each piece stamped with the Italian line crest. And in 1964, a salvage team cut the full-size bronze statue of Admiral Doria from the floor of the first-class lounge, bolted so firmly to the deck they had to saw through the ankles to free it. Every dive on the Andrea Doria is a chance to bring back something untouched since 1956. A piece of a world that no longer exists. That pull is worth the risk to certain kinds of divers. The same reason people climb Everest after the body count is public knowledge. Because it is there. Because it is hard. Because nobody else has done what you are about to do. Divers who have visited in recent years use one word consistently: deteriorating. Whole sections intact a decade ago have now collapsed. Passageways accessible in the 90s are completely blocked. The wreck is being slowly swallowed by the ocean floor. The site has become a significant artificial reef. Lobsters, black sea bass, mahi-mahi. The ocean has fully colonised the Andrea Doria. In another 50 years, the wreck may not be recognisable as a ship at all. The window to dive her and survive is already narrowing, and still the waiting lists fill up every summer. The Andrea Doria was considered one of the safest passenger ships of her era. She carried the most advanced radar of her time, 11 watertight compartments. Italy's proudest statement that the worst was over. She sank on a foggy night in a collision both ships saw coming on their radar screens, 11 hours from New York. Now the Andrea Doria rests on the bottom of the Atlantic, roughly 240 feet down, shallow enough to reach, deadly enough to kill the people who try. Not because the wreck is deep, not because the wreck is remote, because the Andrea Doria is just accessible enough to make you believe you can beat her. More than 16 divers believe that. The Andrea Doria is still waiting for the next one.